Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you what I feed in a day. Now this is not a super typical day, but it's not completely out of the ordinary. It's probably on one of those days where I have a lot of time and effort to feed my goldfish. I will have everything that I show linked down below, so let's get started. So basically next to my goldfish tank I have a big stand of like food and everything else, and you can see here that I have quite a few different food options, as well as this little bowl here. I use this bowl to soak pellets in. I just get them from Woolworths, they're super cute. This is like the main diet I feed my goldfish. It's a mixture of a few different things and I change it up all the time. At the moment it's a mixture of the New Life Spectrum goldfish pellets, and sometimes it's a mixture of the North Fin one, but currently it's not because I couldn't find that one. And as well as that, it also has the Hikari goldfish wheat germ. I bought this one because of Hendrix, because supposedly it's good for goldfish with swim bladder issues, so I've been mixing that in as well. Unfortunately it is a floating pellet, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it's mixed in so they don't get it fed all the time. And this is like their staple diet, and I always make sure to soak pellets for at least 5 minutes before feeding them. This is another staple here. This is the Rapashi gel food. This is super green, but I also have the Solident green as well. I haven't noticed a difference. I recently ran out of the super green, so now I've moved on to the Solident green. And this is actually like really difficult to source in Australia. I know a lot of my viewers are Australian, so you can probably relate how difficult it is to get this food here. But yeah, I managed to find this one off a company called Nat's Fish. So I'll link that one down below. But yeah, I've ordered twice off her now and it's really reliable, doesn't take long in shipping time, and it's really good. So I would definitely recommend Rapashi, and it's super easy to make. I have a couple videos on making it because it's just so easy to make and the fish love it. So, and you can mix all sorts of different things in it. Like when I'm feeding medicated foods, I always feed it with Rapashi, or if you have picky eaters, you can even mix in some garlic and they love it. Okay, so next I have some of the goldfish staple diet. Now I actually get this one given to me for free from my breeder. I don't ask for it, they kind of just pop it in the package as like a little thank you, which I really like. I don't mix it in with the other pellets because they're super small, but I do feed it on occasion. It's also really good to have as like a backup food in case I run out. So that's everything that I keep as like a dry food, and then in the freezer I always keep some frozen peas because they're really good for goldfish, and as well as that I have 3 different types of frozen foods that I feed on a regular basis. The first one is frozen brine shrimp. I don't really care about the brand. I usually just get whatever's available. Sometimes they're really tricky to source, so I'll just take what I can get, and that goes for all frozen foods. I find every time I go for looking for a specific one, they're always out of it. So this one's aqua one, it's fine. I feed that one regularly. This is also what I feed, it's bloodworms. This particular brand, the bloodworms, are in like a green dye. Because they're frozen, I thaw them out, and when I thaw them out you can see the color of the water change green, so it's normal. I think it's a treatment to prevent like parasites and stuff. Doesn't hurt your water or anything, so I feed bloodworms. I try not to feed bloodworms too regularly because it can cause like floaty issues. And then finally I feed frozen Daphnia, I think that's how you pronounce it. This is meant to be really good for like digestion and things like that, so I try to feed this one regularly as well. Okay, so now that we've gone through everything that I own, we're going to actually be feeding my fish. On this particular morning, like I do most mornings, I've just got out of bed and I'm feeling tired and lazy, so I just do what's easiest and I grab the gel food. It's pre-made, it's pre-cut. I don't have to wait for it to be soaked, I don't have to thaw it out. Come on, let's go feed them. Come on. I just grab the gel food from my fridge and pop it straight into the tank. As you can see, this is really difficult to do one-handed, but you know, make it work. So I just pop it straight into the tank. These are about the size of the cubes that I use, and I give 1 each. My 2 big fish are kind of greedy, especially Zana. So sometimes if I feel like she's gotten a lot, I'll put in 5 pieces, but usually 1 piece each, so 4 pieces per feed. And she'll eat a whole piece. Like those pieces I just put in, she'll put a whole piece in her mouth and chew it up, so she's pretty greedy. And we obviously can't forget to feed Hendrix. He has a slightly different container because his is medicated. At the time of filming this video, we had just recently moved him into his little solo tank again. So he's on medicated food because he wasn't doing so well, but he's doing a lot better now again. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll know I have a little betta fish called Samson, and here I am just feeding him a couple of pellets. I only feed him once a day. I could probably feed him twice, but in the beginning, because I was so used to goldfish, I overfed him and he was a little bit bloated. So I really backed off on that now, and I'm kind of just sticking to feeding him once a day, and he seems to be doing really well. Okay, so now it's midday, it's time for lunch, and on this particular day I thought it would be nice to give them a little pre-lunch snack with some spinach. It's really easy to make. I just boil some water in the kettle, grab a little bowl, pick out some spinach. I pick out spinach with the longest stems because I'm going to use a veggie clip. And then I just pop the spinach in the bowl and pour the boiling water on top, and I let it sit for about 5 minutes. It just softens it up, makes it easier for the goldfish to eat. I actually haven't tried feeding it without boiling it, so I don't know if it's like doable. I'm sure it is, and I'm sure they'll like it just as much, but I just don't do it that way. And yeah, so I just use a fork to scoop it out because the water is boiling hot. And I grab my veggie clip. I'll link where you can buy these down below. I actually kind of found it hard as a freshwater hobbyist to find them like in my pet stores. I'm sure if you're a saltwater, you kind of know where to go for saltwater things, but I just stumbled across it one day and I haven't really seen them ever since. So I'll link it below. You can get them online. Yeah, they're really helpful for things like this. I put all sorts of stuff on them like broccoli and everything. So pop it on the veggie clip and tease them with it. And then just pop it in the tank. And yeah, my fish are kind of fussy with like veggies. Zana will eat anything, like she tries everything once, and my 2 new ones seem to be following in her footsteps, so that's really good. Cooper is like 50-50 and Hendrix is like no, he only eats peas, so I don't even bother feeding Hendrix this sort of stuff, he won't eat it. But Zanik is very aggressive with the veggie clip, as you can see, and while we were boiling the spinach, I also set aside one little piece for my snail friend. So I'll show you guys how I put it in here because I don't have an additional veggie clip. This particular tank makes it really easy. What I do is I just scoot the glass lid forward a little bit, like half take it off, put the piece of spinach at the back of the tank with the stem hanging over the sump, and then put the glass back on, and it kind of presses the spinach stem down and holds it there. So I'll show you guys here. You can see the spinach is like stuck between the glass and the sump. So I just hang it off there and the snail finds it and eats it. And of course we feed Hendrix again some gel food. So basically, yeah, here's a small Hendrix update. He had been in the main tank for about 2 or 3 weeks and he started taking up the behavior again of sitting next to the filter and the glass, like parking himself in the corner, which I mentioned in my Hendrix update video. If you haven't watched it, probably should go and watch it. But yeah, he just started doing that again, and it's not a great thing because he gets like exposed to air and his fins get all shredded, and he also gets picked on, and it's just not nice for him. So I moved him back into quarantine, and he seems to be really enjoying it. I don't know why, but he just likes his own space now. So I think that's going to be him for now. So he's in quarantine, and he was being fed medicated gel food, but currently he's just on regular gel food. I don't really even feed him anything else other than maybe some frozen Daphnia, because pellets seem to be what causes him to float more. So gel food for now. Okay, so now it's this afternoon. Because their lunch or their pre-lunch snack was just a little bit of spinach, I like to feed them a little bit more. But as you can see here, Zana has aggressively ripped off the veggie clip and it's now sitting on the floor. I'm not really surprised. I'm gonna leave it in there for now. It's not really a concern to me. I will take it out later. But for lunch, we're just going to be feeding some frozen bloodworms. I don't really plan what frozen foods I feed because I just shove them all in the freezer. I just grab whatever's on top, and I try to, you know, pick different ones each time, but they're wrapped up in newspaper. So if anyone has like a storage hack for these, that would be really good, because I always find that the newspaper gets really gross and ratty, and the frozen food's really hard to like pop out. Like I have to thaw them now, so I kind of run it under a sink and that makes it pop out. But oh my god, some of these are really hard to pop out. So if anyone has like a storage hack for frozen food, let me know. But yeah, so we're just gonna grab a couple here. I grabbed 2 pieces for the main tank. That's like half a piece per fish, and that seems to be pretty good. And so I just pop it in a little dish, thaw it out for a while, and once it looks like this, I just tip it in and they eat away. I wasn't really sure what Zana was doing here because she wasn't eating it. I was kind of concerned, but I think it would have just been she was chewing on some spinach. Like she probably ripped a whole piece off and it was like just chewing on it. So I did watch her for a while to make sure she wasn't choking on it, and she was fine later when I checked on her. So okay, so now it's the last feed for the day. So at 5:30 every day I have a reminder on my phone, not because I forget to feed my fish, but because my light turns off at 6 o'clock. So I know at 5:30 it's my last chance to feed them for the day before their light turns off. So I always try to feed them one last time around 5 o'clock, but if I forget, if I'm busy, then I know 5:30 is like my last chance. So this afternoon we're just going to be giving them some pellets. So I just grab a little scoopful about this much and pop them in the little dish with water, and I'll come back in 5 minutes. So this is how they should look once they've soaked up some water. I find it really important to soak pellets before you feed them to fish for a couple reasons. When they're soaked, they're a lot squishier, so they're easier for the fish to digest. But not only that, because they're at their full size, the fish knows exactly how much they're eating. If you feed them non-soaked pellets, they'll eat way more than they think they need, and then they'll expand in their stomach, and that's how they become like constipated. So always soak your pellets beforehand. You only have to do it for like 5 minutes. It doesn't take long. Gideon here being super cute. So that's what I feed in a typical day, guys. Like I said, everything will be linked below. Message me on Instagram if you have any questions, and thank you guys for watching.